Hello, and welcome to Heineken's Tech Insights, your podcast from Heineken Krakow. Throughout this podcast, we'll be sharing insights and learnings from some of Heineken's top specialists who are shaping the digital future of Heineken. Join us to meet our experts, gain valuable knowledge, and see how what happens in Krakow goes around the world. I am Mateusz Komander, your host, and I'm excited to introduce our first series, Agile Transformation at Heineken, Insights, Growth, and Learning from the Frontline. Today, we are diving into a crucial yet often overlooked part of Agile, how challenges and sometimes even failures can be our best learning opportunities. As we know, in the Agile approach, embracing setbacks as a part of the journey can drive continuous improvement and help teams and individuals grow stronger. Join us as we explore how learning from these moments can lead to real progress. And for this third time in this podcast series, and the last one, welcome back, Dorota.
Hi, good to be here.
Nice seeing you, yeah. So, one more time, connecting with our main topic from your perspective as an Agile coach. Why is it so important to embrace sometimes failure as a part of Agile process? How does this mindset might benefit us?
You already said it at the beginning that it's a learning opportunity, and I think that this is the most important. So one of the part of the designing Agile process is how we can fail fast. And it's not only about delivering the product, for example, for the customer, because let's imagine that you have the product delivered to the customer and you find out that it is not working after 1 month or after a year. Yeah, so it's a huge difference what you can do within the rest of time. Or, for example, when you have the product and then you find out that it is a defect, incident, and you can easily fix it.
Yeah, I think in one of past companies I worked with, the mindset was deploy often, deploy small, fail small. Yeah, that was the I think the mantra said, and we actually, with that mantra in mind, we've started deploying even 2-3 times a week with new solutions. Yeah, but at the same time, if there was any issue, the impact wasn't that huge for the end customer.
Yeah, exactly. So in my previous teams, when I was software developer, we were saying that if it hurts, do it more often. Then you can improve the process so it hurts less.
Okay. Interesting point. Yeah, if it hurts, you may be sometimes used to it, or hopefully not. But nevertheless, now maybe jumping into the more specific areas, maybe from your experience, from your expertise, can you share maybe any example of a significant challenge that you encountered in your career as an Agile coach, or maybe previously as a Scrum Master? What did you learn from that experience, of course, and how did it shape your approach to coaching and to your role?
Yeah, so I can share one story from my one of my previous companies. I was back then Scrum Master. And we were changing technology for the whole product. For the whole product, 10 teams were developing it. And 10 teams were developing in one language, so C#, and then we were changing to Java as we wanted to use microservices. And we found out how we can make this change for the full department. So we picked technical leads from all of these 10 teams and created a new team. We called it scouting team. That were just, in front runners in introducing the change and introducing these new technologies to the department. And I was picked as a Scrum Master for this team. The best people from the department. We call them stars sometimes. So the best technical people were there. And actually, it was one of the biggest failures for me as being Scrum Master, because this experiment lasted for 3 months, and I couldn't create a team out of this group of individuals. as each of them were really, really strong in their technical expertise. And they had different opinions about some technical stuff, how it should be developed. So combining them as a one team was a really big challenge for me as a Scrum Master with everything. So with planning, with retrospective, with discussions. Yeah.
So it was like, so having those strongest people at some point, those individuals who were overperforming in their area, actually brought the part or gave you the challenge that it was impossible to create from the group of leaders to create a team when there is maybe one leader.
Yes, exactly. They were not working as a team. Each of them they worked as an individual person. And I did everything I could back then, yes. So from all of my knowledge I had, and I've learned a lot, especially about solving conflicts, negotiations, and trying to build a team. But after 3 months, we've learned that no, it's not going to happen. They are great in their teams as the leaders, but they are not as a part of the team. And so many learnings from this challenge and failure. Except of this, the pure hard stuff like negotiations and stuff like that. I've also learned that when you build a team, this is also something that you need to look at. It's not that all of the people can create a team. And if I would do this one more time, I would not go this way. So we would find another way of spreading the new technology instead of creating a team of the best people we had.
Yeah, I think there's actually one of the practices that quite often might be overlooked is the practices of team competency matrix, I believe. Yeah, so using or leveraging the team competency matrix, you can actually use that to create a team. And not necessarily looking always for the strongest in specific area, because team competency shows you the competencies you are lacking, and then you can choose from those and not necessarily focusing on only one line or one column of prowess.
Yeah, to the competency matrix, I would add also characteristics of either colors or something else that will help you, for example, not create a team out of all of the red. People, if we speak about colors, because then you have the full picture. Or Gallup talents, for example, somebody who can be the one who can have empathy and building relationships, something like that. Yeah, so I would look for another factors, not just technical competencies then.
Exactly. I think this might be actually an interesting point to invite at some point someone from HR to speak about how we can leverage their support within the creation of agile teams, because what we quite often can see is that we are looking for skill set, not necessarily the the team fit per se, which is from our perspective, like from agile coach, from coach's perspective, might be sometimes also quite important because this very often cannot be changed, and the skill set in technical knowledge quite often can be learned or leveraged.
Yes. I completely agree that also attitude and behaviors that you see are important as a part of the being a team.
Yeah, exactly. So then maybe as a small follow-up, in knowing then, you said that you were working this way for 3 months. You decided to maybe disperse the team, maybe to change the approach. And in Agile, knowing when to pivot is quite often crucial. So when to change the approach is quite crucial. So how do you help, or how can you help, or we can help teams recognize when there's a time to change the direction, to change the approach, because we see that something that we are currently working or trying make to work actually doesn't work.
So in my example, we design an experiment.
Okay.
So I think that this is one of the good practices which will help you to make a decision if this is still a way to go. So if you design an experiment for a short period of time with some clear outcomes or goals you want to achieve, then you can evaluate if this is still if it gives you this value that you wanted to have, or maybe it's not a good direction. So for me, this is the first good practice. And also really thinking what you will get out of this experiment and how you will know that it is a success.
Okay, so setting up not only experiments per se for having the experiments, but setting up the goals of the experiment. So the what we are expecting at the end and having the success factors, the metrics of the success factors of that.
Yeah.
And so then we should work, let's say, within the experiment mindset approach within the teams. And then if that fail, what?
Then you have some learnings to analyze. And then you can define if the way of achieving the goal was wrong, but still the goal itself is good.
Okay.
Yeah, because then the goal can stay and you can change the way how you do the work. Or the goal is devaluated because with the experiment, for example, we checked that it is not something that we want to achieve, or it's not something worth to be achieved. So then you can change the whole approach.
So quite often teams or we in our practices or some Scrum Masters may overlook that they are actually continuously experimenting. Mm-hmm. Could you maybe share like what might be the first touch point for them to see that they're actually experimenting and be able to set up those goals, short-term experiments?
Yeah, so with two things. The first one is improving processes with the retrospective. Yeah, so each cadence, so for example, each sprint you analyze what we did good, wrong, and what we would like to change. So this is like designing small experiments for the next sprint. Mm-hmm. But also with product backlog. Yeah, because each time you are implementing something, you can get the feedback from clients and or from the people that you do the software for, and then also implement some changes. So when I was working with marketing team, we use it very often because marketing is really changing environment. So with short sprints, we were able to gather a lot of feedback. For example, before some big events, if we are already ready with our application, or we still need to add something. So we were doing a lot of experiments in this area.
Okay, but on looking on all of those experiments, being able to be open, having those open discussions, we really need to create the safe environment within a team or within a group of people. So for us to get there, to be able to experiment, we quite often need to create a safe environment for individuals or for groups. So what do you do or recommend to create that environment so that those teams, those individuals could feel comfortable taking risks and learning based on mistakes? And maybe, a small tip, how can other Scrum Masters and Agile coaches foster this kind of culture?
Mm-hmm. Avoid and really look into blaming culture or looking for the, if people are not looking for the blame. Because for me, this is the biggest, something that kills the transparency and kills the safe environment. So, for example, we failed with the sprint. We didn't deliver the expected increment, for example. Nothing can be released. Are we looking for the last person who introduced the defect? Or we are looking, for example, for our continuous improvement and continuous integration environment. Why we didn't have tests, for example, that catch the bug. Yeah? So if we're looking from the perspective of people, or we are looking how we can improve the process, how we can improve our collaboration. So for me, this is one of the most important. And as a Scrum Master, I think that we are responsible for observing if people show this reaction, if people show these behaviors or not.
Yeah, so so maybe to rephrase a little bit what you said, so focus, if I understood that correctly, so to focus on fixing the issue and preventing it happening in the future, rather than saying, oh, it's again that person, or it's again that this is happening and we didn't do that, and stuff like that. Yeah. So encourage everyone, if you see the problem, how you would fix that so that it would never occur in the future.
So I really like this Prime Directive retrospective when we say that everything what we did in that moment was within our ability, to do, and did their best effort to actually do everything they could. Because I think that this creates an environment when we can start a discussion about process, about collaboration, about fixing some stuff, and not just about people.
Okay, so...
And can I add more?
Yes, of
okay,
course.
so I have two more. So leading by example, and this is for leaders. Usually as a leaders...
Sorry, for leaders, you mean specifically like not only Agile coaches and Scrum Master, but also other?
Yes, for managers and for leaders of the organization. So if we want to create safe environment that people are not avoiding risk, that are trying to experiment, you need to lead by example. So present these behaviors and also appreciate teams that actually do this. And I know that there is sometimes a temptation to, for example, I don't know, but punish the team, for example, or micromanage. So you did not deliver, so you need to control you more. But the other behavior that I would encourage leaders to do is appreciate that you took the risk, but tell me what is your learning from this failure, and then we can move on.
Exactly. So like a leader, don't necessarily now micromanage your best approach, best practice into that team, but ask them, okay, guys, you failed this time. That's fine. I understand this may happen. Now, how you can prevent that so that I know that you are trying to fix that, and next time we meet, we can check if you implemented the improvements that you yourself proposed.
Yeah. And use experimentation as well. Yeah, design small ones that will give you already some answers instead of really big changes, for example, or really big increments that you will wait for a long time for feedback. So use these short feedback loops also to teach people that taking the risk is something that we want and something normal, especially in Scrum and Agile environment.
And specifically that if we will not be taking risks, we probably wouldn't be where we are at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and you said two more? That
was already
okay.
That was two.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for joining, first of all. And very valuable series for us having you here and hearing from your experience.
Thanks. It was really great to be here and to be able to speak with you.
Thank you. Dorota, before we close out this final episode, if you could share just one key learning point with our listeners about the role of challenges and failures in Agile, what would it be?
Always look at the fail with the perception that is a learning opportunity.
Okay, so failures as learning opportunities. Perfect. Thank you, Dorota. So, Dorota, I'm sure that our listeners would appreciate even more insights from someone with your expertise. So, if any of them would like to reach out or connect with you to learn more, what might be the best way to do so?
I would recommend LinkedIn. Okay. As I'm not maybe really active user, but I'm there. So you can always reach out to me by this.
Yeah, and our colleagues from Heineken, of course, can find you via
yes, of course,
our chat. Perfect. Okay. Is there, and maybe now one last topic? Like, is there any book, any position that you would recommend our listeners, our guests to read, to be a little bit more aware of how how to lead or how to coach, or maybe there's some other book that influenced you?
Some other. I was thinking which book, because I read so many books that it's really hard to pick one. But the book that I think that the most changed my way of thinking of the change, and I use also in private life and in at work, is Atomic Habits.
I love that book.
Book about how to see habits that benefits you or are not good for you, how to change them, how to. I think that recognizing them is the first step. So with this book, there are some steps, what you can do with changing habit that you already recognize and it's not working for you, or you want to add one more habit. I use it as a Scrum Master. I use it now as Agile coaches, these practices. So yeah, this book I recommend to read.
Perfect. Thank you very much one more time. And thank you for sharing those insights and recommendations with us.
Thanks a lot.
And as we conclude this final episode, maybe let's briefly recap some of the highlights of our discussion. So we explored how setbacks we meet on our path could lead us to critical learning opportunities, not only fostering resilience within a team, but also driving the improvement within them. We've heard from you about the importance of knowing when to pivot and how to do it, and how to create the safe space that encourage teams to experimentation. So I hope these insights inspire our listeners to embrace challenge as shaping stones to growth. And one more time at the end, thank you again, Dorota, for being such an engaging guest in the first series of our podcasts.
Thanks to you as well.
To stay connected, be sure to subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, and follow Heineken Global Shared Services on LinkedIn. And remember, here at Heineken, we are always looking for rising stars who are ready to make an impact. If you are interested in joining us, you can explore our open positions at heinekenkrakow.pl. We'll be back with more insights from Heineken's Agile and digital transformation journey, showing how what happens in Krakow goes around the world. Join us next time to keep learning, growing, and adapting.